She had the career, the partnership, the corner office, even the tasteful ceramics from that one boutique in Tulum. Her calendar was color-coded, her inbox was mostly under control, and her social media posts glowed with curated achievement. From the outside, she looked like the poster gal for success. But in the quiet hours between meetings or in the middle of the night, a question was haunting her. Why does my life feel so empty? Now, if this story feels uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone. It's what happens when you've built a beautiful life by external standards only to realize you feel oddly unfulfilled or trapped inside it. Welcome to this episode of Wise Minds, Wild Hearts. I'm Kip Clark, and today I want to take a closer look at the phenomenon far too many high achievers experience, the success paradox. Now, the success paradox is the invisible weight that many high-achieving women carry with them. It's an emotional dissonance between what your life looks like from the outside and how your life feels on the inside. Now, you've likely ticked all the boxes, you've played the game beautifully, you've won the accolades and the recognition, and yet there's a growing sense that something's missing. It's not failure, and it's not burnout exactly, though that might be part of it. But what's at the root of this is a deep misalignment. Now, Barry Schwartz, a psychologist who wrote The Paradox of Choice, reminds us that more success or recognition doesn't necessarily bring us more joy. In fact, those things can actually leave us feeling more anxious and unanchored in our lives. So why do so many successful people find themselves whispering, "Is this it?" right at the moment they were supposed to feel triumphant? Well, there are a few culprits behind this paradox, and they have nothing to do with a lack of gratitude or the absence of grit in your life. No, these four subtle but pernicious elements are really what's behind that growing feeling of disconnection and isolation and emptiness. And the first of these is living by other people's values. Now, many of us unknowingly climb ladders that were never ours to begin with. Or, as Thomas Merton so powerfully expresses it, people may spend their whole lives climbing the ladder of success only to find, once they reach the top, that the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. Now, cultural scripts, familial expectations, and societal definitions of success can lead us into careers and relationships and lifestyles that don't actually reflect who we really are. Now, this may always have been the situation for you, but more likely it's been a gradual shifting away from what you used to value towards the trappings of success that others have encouraged you to pursue. The second element in the success paradox is a disconnection from the core self. And one of the most overlooked reasons successful people feel empty is that they've lost touch with who they actually are. Psychologist D.W. Winnicott termed this the emergence of the false self, and that's a persona developed in response to external demands and roles and expectations. And it's not that we're being deceitful, it's just a highly adaptive method, and it's a higher order skill that can actually be really effective in certain situations. But over time, what can happen is this false sense can become so well polished that we forget there's a quieter, more authentic self underneath. And the result is a life that looks beautiful from the outside, but feels completely misaligned inside. In her memoir, Becoming, Michelle Obama opens up about feeling unfulfilled in her high-powered career as a lawyer, even though she had ticked every box for professional success. Despite the salary, the prestige, the security, she described feeling disconnected and emotionally depleted. And it wasn't until she stepped away from the rigid expectations of her role and began pursuing work that felt more heart-centered and more aligned with her core values, such as community advocacy and education and health. That's when she experienced a deeper kind of fulfillment. She writes, "I was supposed to be happy, but I wasn't, and that was a problem." Michelle's story is a powerful reminder. Alignment isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline for so many of us that are feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. Now, the third factor in the success paradox is the performance treadmill. This is a kind of addiction that no one warns high achievers about. It's performing success. So when we live our personal and professional life on the performance treadmill, what happens is our identity and our sense of self-worth can become fused with our achievements. And what makes this so insidious is that much of society applauds it. We're seen as driven and ambitious and unstoppable, and that's highly valued in the Western world. But inside, you're exhausted, not just physically, but existentially. You're unsure if you even want the things you're still chasing, but stepping off the treadmill feels threatening. Who are you without the titles, the recognition, the next big achievement? And so often with high achievers, the next big goal needs to be bigger than anything previously achieved, or it's viewed as a disappointment. So this is often where the success paradox hides in plain sight. It's not in people who are failing, but it's in people who are succeeding relentlessly and quietly unraveling inside. In the 2021 Tokyo Olympics, Simone Biles, the most decorated gymnast in history, made headlines not for her gold medals, but for stepping away from competition. The world was stunned. How could an elite athlete in her prime, performing on the world's biggest, most prestigious stage, just walk away? Well, she had to. In her interviews, Biles shared that she'd been performing through immense internal pressure, mental fatigue, and a deep disconnection from her own sense of safety and purpose. The performance treadmill, years of it, had caught up to her. Through her courage, she showed us that well-being is more important than winning. But of course, she did get back to her winning ways as well. It's just that she did it from a place of joy and delight and fulfillment. Now, the fourth factor in the success paradox is emotional numbing. So this occurs when, instead of confronting any discomfort we might be feeling, we tend to bury it beneath busyness and goal setting and achievement. It's not that we're unwilling to feel, it's more that some of us have forgotten how to feel, or perhaps that we're afraid of what we'll find when we stop performing and let those feelings really come to the surface. The problem is that when we numb out the difficult feelings, the disappointment, the sadness, the frustrations, we also numb down joy and creativity and meaning. In her TED Talk and book, The Gifts of Imperfection, Brené Brown shares how, as a researcher and a perfectionist, she was completely blindsided by her own midlife unraveling. Beneath her polished exterior and all the academic successes was someone disconnected from herself. Her strategy may sound totally familiar to you. Control, achievement, hyperactivity. She eventually realized, though, that she cannot selectively numb emotions. She writes, "When we numb the dark, we also numb the light." Her story reminds us that reconnection doesn't require dramatic change necessarily, but it does require emotional honesty. And that starts by slowing down long enough to feel the life you're living, the good and the bad. Now, if you've been with me this far, hopefully you're already waking up a little bit to the way your own life is possibly not working for you. Now, I want to tell you, you don't need to burn everything down in your life, but you may need to recalibrate one or two things. And I've got 3 simple but powerful ways that you can begin to do that. And the first of these is to take time and reclaim your values. So this is reflecting on what truly matters to you. This is usually the starting point when I'm working with a new client, because without the clarity on the core values, no other kind of support or intervention will be very effective in helping you create the joy and fulfillment that you're likely missing right now. So if you're uncertain where to begin with this process, one way to start is to think back to what you loved to do as a child. Our early years usually hold the most powerful clues about what our soul is craving now, because as children we were much less subjected to the weight of social conditioning that became so influential as we entered our early teen years and beyond. There's a simple tool you can download to help you with this. I've created it. It's called the Success Paradox Scorecard. It's free. and you can get it. There's a link in the show notes. So hop on over there when you're done listening, grab your copy of the scorecard and give it a try. The second method you can use to start turning things around is to audit your life for alignment. Now, I suggest starting small. Maybe start with your calendar. Look at everything you've scheduled for the next 4 weeks. Do all your appointments and engagements, do they reflect your values, the deepest core values in you, or are they simply your obligations? So, for example, if you deeply value connections with people, are they represented by what you've scheduled in your calendar each week? Or if you're like me and you value freedom, have you created space for that? So one of the first things I have clients do when they've been feeling empty or unfulfilled is to change how they use their calendar. So instead of filling in the meetings, the work tasks, or any of the other endless professional obligations first, we start by filling in the fun stuff, the vacations, the opportunities to recharge and rejuvenate, the play dates, and so on. Things like pottery classes, kayaking excursions, downtime with family or friends, whatever lights you up and makes you feel connected to people, makes you feel happy and joyful and fulfilled. Most people I work with experience feeling lighter and more excited about their lives immediately when they go through this simple exercise. And then the third method you can try is to speak your micro truths. And again, I suggest starting small. This is about releasing what's no longer working for you verbally. Stand in your truth. So a few examples of what this can look like are these. You might say something like, "This no longer feels like me, and I'm respectfully declining." Or you might say, "I want more," fill in the blank here. "I want more freedom, more fun, more self-expression, more time with my kids, my spouse, my friends." Or, "I'm not willing to hold space for this relationship anymore, and I release it with love and compassion." Or, "I'm done with pretending." Now, you can use any or all of these, or you can create some of your own. The goal is to simply start stating out loud what your values are and releasing anything that is not in alignment with those values. And I suggest just starting first, maybe talking to yourself in a mirror, but definitely saying these statements out loud, getting used to saying them, feeling strong inside, so that then when some new opportunity or challenge arises, instead of doing your default, which is just to maybe rush in and start performing and start achieving, is just to take a step back and say, "No, actually, this is out of alignment, and so I am not going to pursue this." So, if thinking about living your life away from that performance treadmill feels scary or intimidating at first, that's pretty normal. You've likely been operating from a place of misalignment for a long time, so it's become both familiar and comfortable, even when it's painful. So starting with small, manageable steps like these can help you gain confidence and allow you to experience living from a place of joy and freedom and alignment, and that's what I want for you. I so want that for you. And by committing to this new way of being and doing, one small step at a time, you'll soon see those small wins accumulate into one big, gorgeous life in which achievement is just the icing on the cake. Because, my friends, this is not about stopping achieving. You were built for achievement. It's how you're made. But what we're trying to do here is to help you to really feel the impact of your achievements on you and on those around you, and to refocus on what's important so that your achievements have the kind of impact you dream of having for them. Okay, that's it for this episode, my friends. Feel free to download that scorecard. Again, the link is in the show notes. I love hearing from you. I love hearing from my listeners about how these episodes are going for them, how things have worked out. And so drop me a line. You can connect with me through email at kip@kipclark.com, or you can find me over on my website, kipclark.com. I love to hear from you. I answer every message I receive. It fills me with joy to know that something that I'm doing has made a difference in someone's lives.